When we started the season, we thought maybe this would be the state championship game throughout most of the year. This was number 1 versus number 2, but here we are through the peaks and the valleys of the season. It is the state semifinals, a rematch between Mount Vernon and Estherville Lincoln Central. Hello, everybody, and welcome in courtside. My name is Vernon. She is the 16-time varsity letter winner at Columbus Junction, Joanna Settles. And Joanna, what a matchup we have here in Class 3A. Mount Vernon, Estherville Lincoln Central. Could you ask for a better game?
No, these two teams have phenomenal athletes, some of the top in the state. Haley Stokes for ELC. Don't look away when she has the ball. She scores quickly. And then the 2004 Gatorade Player of the Year in Iowa, and Chloe Meester in volleyball. She's so good.
Yeah, Stokes has already led Estherville Lincoln Central to one state championship, trying to lead them to another one, and we'll hear more about what these two teams need to do to get to that state championship game a little bit later on in your Seeds for Success. But first, let's take a look at these two teams and how they reached here to the Class 3A semifinals. We'll start first with Estherville Lincoln Central. They're the 5 seed. They came into the state tournament in the final IGHSAU rankings at number 6. 21-3 overall. They defeated Cherokee 57-33 in the quarterfinal round. As we mentioned, Haley Stokes, 23 points, 10 steals, 7 assists. Riley Yeager, 10 points and 11 rebounds. She had a double-double. On the flip side, for the Mustangs of Mount Vernon, it was 24-1 record right now. They defeated West Marshall in a massive game in the quarterfinals, 75-19, one of the farthest separations of team points in state basketball tournament history, 75-19 in that quarterfinal round. Savannah Wright, 23 points. She was 5 of 7 from beyond the arc, just a freshman for Mount Vernon. And, of course, Sydney Huber, 16 points, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. What a massive game that was for Mount Vernon.
It was, and it was a great coming out in front of the big audience here for Savannah Wright. 5 three-pointers is huge, but 23 points being led by a freshman.
2 legendary head coaches. We'll talk more about them and the rest of the teams when we come back. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, getting set for the Class 3A semifinals, a rematch from a year ago. It's Estherville Lincoln Central and the Mustangs of Mount Vernon. And these two teams warming up, getting set here to go in our first Class 3A semifinals. The Class 5A championship is set. We did that here this morning in our first 2 games, and now we need to know how these two teams are going to win this game. Joanna Settles, what are our channel seeds for success?
There it is for Mount Vernon. Make it difficult for Haley Stokes to score. She is incredible with the ball, so she will draw a lot of attention. Mount Vernon also expects unselfish play. The Mustangs have played that way all year long and have 4 players who average in double digits. For ELC, they need to play lockdown defense. There's a lot of offensive weapons for Mount Vernon, and then ELC, TNT, together, no excuses and toughness.
There we go, TNT for ELC, the midgets of Estherville Lincoln Central. Those were today's Seeds for Success, brought to you by Channel Seeds. And, you know, along with the amazing players that we have on this floor today between these two teams, the coaches. Both of these head coaches have won state championships, have done so much for multiple different schools, not just Estherville Lincoln Central and Mount Vernon. And of course, these girls have to be so lucky to have these two gentlemen as their head coaches.
They are such great stories on both sides. We'll start with Coach Nate Sanderson, formerly at Springville. He took over these last 4 years. 5 years ago, Chloe Meester was a wee 8th grader, and Mount Vernon won 1 game. So to talk about this turnaround in 4 years is so impressive. Of course, this year they started off with a loss. They did start off 0-1. Their loss was to Xavier, who was vying for a 4A state championship. And as we go to ELC, Estherville Lincoln Central, Coach Don Martindale, he is so good. He loves the aerobic conditioning, but like every great coach does, he doesn't even run them at all. He has so many wonderful drills. They're running full court. They don't realize they're working on they're sprinting. They just are going full court, but with a ball all the time, and he really lives by that. So the girls have a lot of fun and stay in the game.
When we come back, it's starting lineups and tip-off between ELC and Mount Vernon. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, a 5th-generation farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau.
And I'm Erin Gerlich, Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We're excited to have you join us for the Girls State Basketball Tournament.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to be the title sponsor of this amazing event. Iowa's farmers work endlessly to grow and raise nutritious food and sustain our local communities. Similarly, Iowa's student athletes dedicate countless hours to train and excel in their sport. Partnering with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union allows us to celebrate farmers and student athletes while supporting and empowering the Iowa girl.
Reaching the state tournament is a tremendous achievement, and it requires strong support. Thanks to the Iowa Farm Bureau, we can celebrate and honor students for their accomplishments on the basketball court and in the classroom. The Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to your success, assisting our organization in providing awards, grants and scholarships, as well as concussion insurance and these wonderful championship hats. These contributions not only protect student athletes' health, but also highlight outstanding performance in both athletics and academics.
As Iowans, we have so much to be proud of, and every single one of us plays a role in making our state great. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau
and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union,
congratulations on an outstanding season, and best of luck in the tournament.
The show respect the student athletes, the coaches, and the officials of this contest. Act with dignity, speak with courtesy, and play with pride. Thank you for your attendance, and enjoy the game. And enjoy the game. And enjoy the game. And enjoy the game.
The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union promotes good sportsmanship by participants, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants, officials, and spectators in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, sexist, or abusive comments, or intimidating actions directed at officials, participants, coaches, team representatives, or event personnel will not be tolerated on our grounds for removal. We thank you for your cooperation and invite you to enjoy the game. Fans, it's now time to introduce the players in today's semifinal matchup. First, the non-starters and assistant coaches for ELC. Number 5, Ariana Beekman. Number 10, Emilia Tarnowski. Number 12, Morgan Claybaugh. Number 22, Grace Nath. Number 32, Zoe DeRuyter. The assistant coaches are Scott Stokes and Mitch Crine. Now let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches for the Mustangs. Number 3, Olivia Truitt. Number 4, Quinn Pershing. Number 5, Erin Jackson. Number 14, Lucy Wishmeyer. Number 21, Sophia Meester. Number 24, Riley Rasmussen. And number 25, Ella Wilson. The assistant coaches are Jacob Meisner, Ben Kanake, Susan Orvis, and Jason Pershing. And now, let's introduce the starters for both teams. For ELC, a 5'3" senior guard, number 3, Kara Schultz. For the Mustangs, a 5'5" freshman guard, number 10, Savannah Wright. For ELC, a 5'11" senior forward, number 20, Riley Yeager. For the Mustangs, a 5'5" junior guard, number 11, Taylor Frank. For ELC, a 5'7" senior guard, number 23, Haley Stokes. For the Mustangs, a 6'3" senior center, number 20, Chloe Meester. For ELC, a 5'5" senior forward, number 3, Jalissa Smith. For the Mustangs, a 5'8" junior guard, number 22, Courtney Frank. For ELC, a 5'8" senior forward, number 34, Hillary Rushy. And for the Mustangs, a 6' senior guard, number 23, Sydney Huber. The head coach for Estherville Lincoln Central is Don Martindale. Head coach for the Mount Vernon Mustangs, Nate Sanderson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the area in front of the scorer's table for the introduction of our officials for this afternoon's game. Andrew Kane, Brandon Smith, Adam Walderbach, and your bench official, Cole Osterholz. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for state tournament basketball.
Well, here we go. It sure has the feel of a state championship game. Mount Vernon fans are here. Estherville Lincoln Central fans are here. And we are set for this matchup in the Class 3A semifinals. What a fun one it's going to be.
You can already see that there's a big height advantage for the Mustangs, even in this jump ball. 6'3", Chloe Meester. We expect her to get it.
And she does tap it backwards, and it will be Mount Vernon who will control the tip. And Mount Vernon got off to an early start, led 25-7 after that first quarter in their quarterfinal win. And they're going to try to start right back where they left off as Taylor Frank drives in with a nifty move off the right hand.
Yes, you saw Meester. She was posting up and then stepped away, and her defender had to stay with her, which left a clear path for an easy 2.
Now we'll see what Mount Vernon will do defensively against the All-Stater, Haley Stokes. She's so good at creating space, even when there's not a lot of space there. And they turn it over, and they'll go right back to Mount Vernon.
Yes, I talked to Coach Nate Sanderson before the game, and he said number 11, Taylor Frank, has the defensive specialist assignment to start with to try to slow down Stokes.
The first triple on the way is no good, and the rebound will go to Savannah Wright. In her first state tournament appearance, can she have a 3 here? No. Chloe Meester now third opportunity, but it's poked away. Here comes Stokes. She's 1-on-2 the other way. Stokes to the rim, and she's fouled and will go to the free throw line. Haley Stokes 1-on-2. Had some reinforcements on the way, but she'll try to do it here from the free throw line. As you see, weaving in left and right. A little contact there as Stokes goes to the rim. Kind of disrupted that shot. First free throw is up, and it is good for Stokes.
Yeah, Stokes is so quick in transition. That quick, low crossover makes it tough to defend.
85% from the free throw line, almost 86% from the charity stripe this year. And she knocks him down, and we are tied. Something that we will likely say often in this state semifinal matchup. As Mount Vernon ELC expected to be a good one here. These two teams have faced off this year. They were number 1 and number 2 through the first 10 weeks of the season, and a foul is going to be called on a shot. I believe Haley Stokes has just picked up her first. Coach Martindale asking if there was ball contact there, but the official says there was contact.
Yes, Haley Stokes got beat off the dribble. You don't see that often. And so she tried to block from behind. She and her coach thought it was clean, but the refs disagreed. Most teams here at this tournament are running that 5-out offense, and when you have 6'3" Chloe Meester inside, she has to stay down in the post because you want the ball down there often. So they run a 4-out offense, and you can see that 2 Mustangs are already down and don't even offensive rebound, so that there's no run-outs by Stokes and company.
First free throw good, second free throw no good. Rushy grabbed the rebound, and now Stokes through the lane trying to go against Meester. Was no good on the shot, but she got her own rebound. Now a step back 3. It's also off the mark, and the rebound, I think that's off of Mount Vernon. It is. Rebound just couldn't quite be corralled by Savannah Wright, so it will stay with Estherville Lincoln Central. And let's see if Estherville Lincoln Central now will try to find an open shot for Stokes. Inside they go, and the ball is lost out of bounds by ELC. Jalissa Smith on the backdoor cut pass. Couldn't quite corral that one. ELC will put some pressure on in the backcourt of Mount Vernon. Some light pressure as Mount Vernon will break it and bring it across the line. Courtney Frank, we're going to hear a lot from the two Franks, Taylor and Courtney, and that one's poked out of bounds by Stokes. Good job by Stokes getting in the passing lane and tipping it into the bench.
She's quick, has a lot of deflections in every game that she plays. You can see Chloe Meester starts on the weak side here.
20 seconds for Mount Vernon to put a shot up. They're going to go inside to Meester. All of a sudden, 3 bodies. As soon as that ball floats inside, 3 Estherville Lincoln Central bodies collapse down on Meester, and she was unable to corral that one inbounds, loses it out, back to ELC.
Yes, in my conversation with Coach Don Martindale, he said that's exactly what they want to do. You'll see number 34, Hillary Rushy, front her, and as soon as it looks like the ball's going in, they will collapse.
5:30 here in the opening quarter. 5 points combined between these two. Little jumper by Stokes is no good, and the rebound is out of bounds off of Mount Vernon, so it'll stay with Estherville Lincoln Central, and they'll get a fresh 35.
They will, and you can see that this team is always looking for Haley to get the ball. Most of these out-of-bounds plays are run for her. Here she comes off of a double screen, but the defense is going to go underneath a lot of those screens.
Stokes, off balance, no problem. She knocks it down from the free throw line, and Estherville Lincoln Central has the lead 4-3. Here comes Mount Vernon back the other way. Rushy, as you can see, on the inside is bodying up. There's the steal for ELC, was bodying up Meester, going back the other way. And the ball is stripped out of the hands of Riley Yeager, and now Mount Vernon wants to run. We're 3-on-3. Everybody else catches up, and a travel is going to be called. A little step by Huber before she put the ball down, and we're going back the other way with ELC.
Yeah, she was hoping to get a quick two, but Smith hustled down on defense.
Close it in on halfway through our opening quarter. ELC with a slight advantage, 4-3. It was Mount Vernon winning 52-42 when these two teams met on November 30th. That was a long time ago. You've been around sports long enough, and you know as the season goes on, teams get better and better. Both teams get better and better and different throughout the season.
Yeah, in their matchup earlier, it stayed tight for a while, and it only was as big of a spread as it was because of having to foul at the end by the Midgets.
Three-point shot is no good. 51% for Mount Vernon from three in the quarterfinal round. They've got a third opportunity. This is the second time they've had three opportunities, and a foul is called as three bodies inside trying to poke that ball away from Courtney Frank, and she gets knocked down to the floor.
Rushie's doing a great job on Chloe Meester. Again, the Mustangs rebounding well. It is not even Meester that's dominating the boards.
Drive inside. Tough two is no good. It's left short by Taylor Frank. Might have got a little bit too far under before that ball went up. We stay at a 4-3 advantage. Haley Stokes with the basketball. Gets a screen. She hit one from the free throw line. This time she tries a floating two, takes the contact, and lays it in. The bucket in the harm for Stokes.
Does anyone have as good of a hesitation move? There it is right there. A little hesitation, a little shimmy, a little left hand off the glass.
And because of that move, that's actually probably what drew that foul, because Meester got behind after that little stutter step and then was trying to close in and just got the body contact in there.
Yes, so effective.
The three-point play converted. Stokes now perfect 3 for 3 from the free throw line in the contest. Good move inside, and the layup is good by Savannah Wright. Had 23 points in the quarterfinal round. She was 9 of 11 from the floor. That was her first ever state tournament game.
Yeah, she doesn't play like a freshman. If you asked which one is the freshman out there, she's not your first guess. But in those two, we have a highlight film for both teams in just those two plays.
Stokes gets a great pass. Tried for a three from the right side. Does not go. It'll be Mount Vernon with a chance to tie or take the lead as the Mustangs come floating down the courts. Here's the three ball from Frank. No good, and Stokes doesn't just score. She gets a rebound. Great pass up to Rushy. Rushy able to keep it alive. Backdoor pass, left hand is good. That was all set up by the pass from Stokes across the court, and Riley Yeager finds the two. Oh, that's Stokes' second. Stokes going to get charged with her second foul.
You might see Coach Martindale switch her defensive assignment to take a little pressure off her. They do not want her to have her third in the first half.
I think you just said, I think you're right. I think he was just saying something about switches. Here's a drive inside looking for two. Taylor Frank throws another one in, and we are knotted at 9.
Yes, I talked to assistant coach Susan Orvis before the game. We used to coach against each other when she was the head coach at Muscatine and I was the head coach at Mount Pleasant. But she talked about how unselfish the Mustangs are and how they're so good at both ends of the court. And you just saw Courtney Frank there D it up and then have a nice crossover move on offense.
Long pass up the court after the Meester pickup. Stokes went down, but she's going to grab the basketball. Pardon me, that was Stokes.
Yeah, it was her on the ground and her getting up and getting the board.
Great pass up the court, another assist for Stokes. Stokes is kind of favoring that leg as she went down, and she's still kind of favoring as we go to the bench. Hopefully she'll be okay. Look at that pass from Stokes, just on the money. And the layup is good. That's the thing about Stokes' game. We talk about all the points she scores, but she's grabbing rebounds, she's playing good defense, and she can pass the ball at an elite level.
She sees the court so well. A few plays ago, she literally passed it all the way down. She was still in the backcourt when her team scored, and it touched 3 different people for ELC, but she is what led to points for her team. So she leads so well. I do hope she's okay as she's limping a little bit. I don't like to see that.
Yeah, she is still kind of favoring a leg a little bit, but here's the thing, the state semifinals and a player like Haley Stokes, you're going to have to carry her off of this floor.
Yes. Again, they change her defensive assignment, take a little pressure off of her defensively.
Here come the Mustangs down the floor as Savannah Wright carrying the basketball. It's a 4-point lead for Estherville Lincoln Central. Mustangs haven't quite got going from the three-point arc. Can this get it going? No, it's long, no good. Stokes has the rebound. She feels the pressure out the back door. She gets it ahead for a 2-point shot. Knocked away, and then ELC loses it out of bounds.
And that was Frank's good hustle play to get her hand on the ball.
Schiltz, the one that went up for the 2. IMT substitution. Be worry-free with IMT at IMTINS.com as Aaron Jackson checks in for the Mustangs. Chloe Meester to the Mount Vernon bench. Mount Vernon's gone now 7 deep. There's a floating 2, no good. Estherville Lincoln Central still with their starting 5 on the floor. And ELC under a minute here to play in the first quarter will try to extend their lead. Stokes drives inside against 3, and she traveled.
Haley Stokes would like to go to the monitor on that one. She disagreed, but she did have 3 defenders. So somebody else is open when that happens, but she loves to take it.
Here comes Mount Vernon back down the floor. Shot 51% from 3, shot 50% as a team from the floor in the quarterfinals, and they lose it out of bounds. Estherville Lincoln Central has forced Mount Vernon to lose quite a few of them out.
Yes, but some excellent post defense by ELC's Hillary Rushy to make it difficult to get the ball down low, even in that short corner area.
Stokes will bring the ball across the floor, and ELC will get into their offense. The last few times down when they've been able to set up an offense, it's been Stokes trying to get an open shot.
She runs the offense. She's the quarterback here. She wants a screen.
5 seconds. It's blocked. 3-pointer at the buzzer. Now Mount Vernon has a look. Will they get it away? They will not. They got a half-court look, but it would not have gone if it was in. We have played 8 minutes of basketball. ELC by 4. We'll come back here to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines and play 8 more. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
It's Frank. Frank. Mr. Frank. I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
In your neighborhood, there's a place so good. It's so nice to be at a store meant for me. The feeling of family, you have to agree.
Wow, thanks, Fairway Frank.
Welcome to Fairway, your Fairway family.
Back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. Across Iowa, hundreds of neighborhood banks are providing jobs, supporting businesses, and strengthening our communities. Here, success is built by you, and the life you build is backed by Iowa Banks. See what we mean at iowabankers.com. Estherville Lincoln Central will start with the basketball as Mount Vernon got the opening tip. No jump balls in the first quarter, and Mount Vernon kind of swarming defensively near the half-court line, forces ELC to about 20 seconds now as they're going to get into their offense on the shot clock. Still a long ways away from the basket. Rushy has it.
Just both teams playing incredible defense, which is why both teams are scoreless from 3. ELC now 0 for 7 from the three-point line, and the Mustangs 0 for 5.
Mount Vernon barely keeping that ball inside, and it's poked away, and ELC's defense has created another turnover. Long pass into 3 defenders, and a foul's called. Oh, man, it didn't look like there was any room to pass that ball up with 3 defenders, yet still it was lined in there to Yeager, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Don't tell Haley Stokes that. There she is, the length. I don't know, I know she's going to Minnesota State to play basketball, but she should be a professional football player, flag football player for women, because she's really got an arm and an eye for seeing the court and seeing her open teammate.
You know, women's flag football is really picking up steam, and it is so fun to watch.
She would be a star.
Oh, she would be.
She is.
Already. I think just about anything that she tried to do, she would be good at. 12-7 is the LC lead. One free throw knocked in there for Estherville Lincoln Central. Under 20 on the shot clock, now 15 for Mount Vernon. As we've played a minute here in the second quarter. Tough two, no good off the front of the iron, and now we're going to have a fight for our first jump ball that will stay with Mount Vernon, and those are the type of plays that helps Mount Vernon in these close games. A ball that looked like it was going to be an ELC rebound, you just reach back in there, get a jump ball, and it's now your possession.
It is, and this is a great time to put Chloe Meester right back in the game up for this out-of-bounds play, hopefully to score.
Yeah, maybe they'll lob it into her to try for it. They will lob it into her. Will she go for two? She will, and she will score right into Meester. And she knows how to put it into the basket. She does there, 12-9. Rushing now for ELC. Meester has spent the last couple of minutes of the opening quarter in the first 30 seconds or so here in the second quarter on the bench. 7 deep so far for Mount Vernon off the bench. ELC has not gone to their bench. It's Stokes. Loses the handle on it. Now just 3 to shoot. She will throw one up, and it is no good. Stokes only had 3 to shoot. Long ways away from the basket, but you never know.
Well, she's always cognizant of the time clock. So you have to do what you have to do sometimes. It's better to get a shot up than take the penalty. Here comes this balanced Mount Vernon offense. Again, 4 players averaging double digits. Savannah Wright with 12. Taylor Frank averaging 10 a game. Chloe Meester almost 15 a game. And Sydney Huber averaging 15 to lead the Mustangs.
And Huber had 16 in the opener. We mentioned earlier that Wright had 23. Those two led the way. Now 15 for Mount Vernon to shoot, and slicing through the defense. Left it short. And no good is Taylor Frank. And now ELC with a chance to extend their lead, with 5 and change to play here until halftime. Not maybe quite as much offense as we saw, but these two defenses have played so well this year too. It's not surprising that we have a 12-9 score about halfway through our second quarter. Rushy thought about a 3, didn't pull the trigger, instead goes inside to Smith. It's batted back inside. And now the ball's on the floor. We've got bodies on the floor, and it will come out to Mount Vernon.
And part of the reason for the lower scoring as well is they're using almost the entire shot clock to work their offense, because the defense is shutting everything down that they want to do. Here comes a ball screen. Meester tries to post up a little bit, but it's sure tough with Rushy on her.
On the floor to travel is going to be called against Courtney Frank, the junior. Averages 8 points per game this year, shoots almost 50% from the floor. That's the other thing. You look up and down the starting lineup for Mount Vernon, 46%, 44%, 61, 48, and 48% from the floor.
A lot of that is because they go out, they run. It's hard to against this team, but they run and gun, and so many of those are layups. It's always easier to score before the defense gets there.
No doubt about that. Points off turnovers. They had a ton of points off turnovers in their opening round win over West Marshall. Rushy at the free throw line, gives it back to Yeager. Yeager spot 3 on the way, no good. Off the front of the iron, Meester with the rebound. Smith fighting in there, trying to poke that one free, but Meester able to hang on to it. And here comes Mount Vernon running back the other way. Halfway through our second quarter.
Meester open there. They didn't get it to her quick enough before Rushy went back. She was doubling the ball.
It has been almost 3 minutes since Mount Vernon has found a field goal in that Meester inbound pass. Here's a drive inside, and it's blocked away. Riley Yeager got the hand up and took one away from Taylor Frank. Estherville Lincoln Central now in their blacks here as the road team. 3 ball is no good. And again, both teams struggling from beyond the arc in this one. 0 from 8 and 0 from 7 from beyond the arc for these two teams. Meester inside is fouled by Yeager. Meester had to grab it twice, but on the second grab, went up with it and she was fouled. We'll see it inside, bobbled it, got it back, put it up, and the foul comes in on Riley Yeager.
Chloe brought it down a little too far for my liking, right? When you're that tall, keep that ball high as you drop step and score.
First free throw is good. Helps Mount Vernon win the Class 3A volleyball championship. As you mentioned, Gatorade Player of the Year.
She's headed to Louisville.
Yeah.
Where Peyton Peterson from Dyke New Hartford plays. Of course, they were runner-up in the nation.
Yeah.
So quite an amazing program. And to have two of our Iowa girls playing there speaks to the athleticism of our Iowa girls.
Peterson getting some time in those national matchups. Both free throws are good. Good pass inside by Stokes, and Smith finishes. Goes with the left hand and just shoots it across the lane for two.
She's so ambidextrous. Chloe Meester came a little high on the defense, and Smith was able to sneak behind the defense. And, of course, Stokes could thread that needle for the assist.
Courtney and Taylor Frank will switch off. They'll go back inside to Meester. Three bodies on her, which means somebody's open for a three, and it's no good. Still no three-pointers in this game for either team. Yeager grabs the rebound, and now Stokes feeds it back to Yeager. Numbers for ELC. Yeager inside, Euro step, left hand, no. Gets her own rebound off the bottom of the rim. And now Stokes wants to drive. Floating two is in and out, no good. Meester's got the rebound. A couple of great looks there for ELC.
On all those defensive plays, ELC is not able to do what they want because of Meester.
And we have knocked down a three-pointer, and Sydney Huber, who was 6 of 10 from the floor in the quarterfinals, knocks down the first three of the game.
Finally, that was 16 shots from three that it took.
And Rushy can't handle the pass from Stokes. Out of bounds, and just like that, Mount Vernon has tied the game and now has a chance to take the lead with 1:44 to play till halftime.
Yeah, Stokes throws the ball with some heat on it. That's the second one that's been too hot to handle for the midgets.
Here comes Mount Vernon with the basketball, a chance to take the lead. Mount Vernon's only lead of the day was 2 points early on. Drive inside, floating two, in and out, no good. A little tough there for Huber. 1:16 to play here in the second now. And Stokes and company, now they get an opportunity to retake the lead. Their largest lead has been 5. So 5 points. Oh, that one's lost. We've got to fight for it, and it'll be a jump ball, stays with the ELC. Largest lead between these two teams was the ELC lead of 5 at the 7:16 mark, right away into the second quarter. And that's what we were kind of expecting. Oh, that ball got tipped in bounds, and the inbounder, Schultz, had to come from out of bounds, inbounds, and get her own inbound pass. Close to that out of bounds line, but of course the official was right there, says that she was inbounds. And at the shot clock buzzer, it is blocked out of bounds. No, shot clock violation.
Shot clock violation.
The Mustangs wanted to make sure that they get the ball here with 46.6 seconds left.
It was tipped out of bounds by Mount Vernon. The first official had said it is ELC basketball, but the shot clock had went off as that ball was going out of bounds, so that's a shot clock violation. Good communication by our officials, like always. They come together and agree that it's a shot clock violation. Inside of Meester, 3 bodies on her, back outside for a 3, and it's knocked down. Courtney Frank this time for 3. And that's the inside out that Mount Vernon likes to do when you get 3 bodies that collapse on Chloe Meester. Somebody's got to be open.
It also speaks to her unselfishness when there's 3 on you.
And that'll be a foul against Mount Vernon on the drive by Stokes. Mount Vernon wanted it to be the 3rd on Haley Stokes. But instead it's against Mount Vernon, 8 to shoot till halftime. Stokes with 5. No. Rebound, Yeager at the buzzer. Also no, and it will go out of bounds as the clock will expire. 2 looks for ELC as the quarter comes to an end. And just like that, Mount Vernon has their largest lead of the game as we go to halftime at 17-14.
After the first quarter, it was 7-11. Now we're 17-14, so that's only 10-3. So not a lot of scoring from ELC. They're trying to bring that high screen up for Stokes. They're going under the screen, and they're containing her well.
We'll talk about stats after a little while, but ELC 0 for 9 from beyond the arc. Mount Vernon just 2 of 10. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We will kind of take a breath, and we'll recap this first half of basketball between Mount Vernon and Estherville Lincoln Central next. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Different people have different needs, so Delta Dental of Iowa has affordable dental and vision coverage that meets you where you are. Small business on a budget? We have options with no employer costs. Traditional Medicare plans don't cover dental, but we do. And if you can't get benefits at work, you can buy direct from us. Plus, we give back to local communities, so you help make an impact. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, for your community.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Welcome back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. You see those banners being removed down in the bottom of your screen. The Waverly Shell Rock dance team with a little barnyard routine here back inside Wells Fargo Arena. 17-14 in favor of Mount Vernon. It's always fun to see the basketball, but also all the different schools' dance teams. Something we missed yesterday with the weather. They kind of had to improvise with some different halftime activities, but able to get the dance teams back down here to perform at halftime here in the semifinal round. And as we mentioned before, this is our first Class 3A semifinal. Earlier today, it was the Class 5A semifinals. Johnston defeated Ankeny Centennial. They'll play for a state title against Dowling Catholic. So it's number 1 versus number 2 in Class 5A. And now we move on here into Class 3A. Mount Vernon taking on Estherville Lincoln Central. Winner of this will move on to tomorrow night's championship game against either Williamsburg or Dubuque Wahlert, who play next in our next semifinal matchup. Those will be the first 2 championships tomorrow night at 6 p.m. is Johnston and Dowling, and then at 8 p.m. tomorrow night it is the winner of these 3A semifinals. That puts us on to Saturday when we'll have the Class 4A, 2A, and 1A state championship games. And Zara Negastal back with Joanna Settles. And Joanna, what kind of a fun first half? 3-point shooting maybe for both teams, just not quite getting going. Maybe we'll see that light up a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, it's well below average for both of these teams, but is it poor shooting or is it phenomenal defense? I'll go with the latter. Mount Vernon's coach, Nate Sanderson, expects his team to contain Haley Stokes. She had 7 points in the first quarter and was scoreless in the second. The Mustangs can't let down.
Coach Sanderson winning 2 state titles at Springville just a few years ago. And, of course, Coach Martindale of Estherville Lincoln Central winning the state championship here with ELC. And now both of these 2 coaches trying to get teams back to a state championship game. We'll come back with our stats here at halftime when we come back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
Back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Mount Vernon leading Estherville Lincoln Central at the half, 17-14. There's the Estherville Lincoln Central midget as he is enjoying himself here at the arena. Well, let's take a look at our stats in the first half between these 2 teams. And Joanna, what kind of stands out to you here in the first half?
ELC only shooting 25%. Obviously, see the 0 for 9, and Mount Vernon at 6 for 10 at only 30%. These are well below average for both teams. Of course, they scouted each other well because they knew they may end up here and played each other early in the season. 10-7 turnovers, and one that you don't see is that points in the paint. Only 8 points for ELC and 6 for Mount Vernon. Again, well below. And both teams usually score a lot of points in transition, and currently ELC has 2 points on fast breaks, and Mount Vernon is scoreless.
One of the things that stands out to me, ELC out-rebounding Mount Vernon right now, 17-13. That's probably not something that has happened to Mount Vernon much at all this year.
No, when I talked to Coach Martindale, he said we have to box out, and whatever drills they're doing, it works because they don't have the high advantage. If you look at Chloe Meester, she has 7 rebounds. She's amazing, but she easily could have almost 20, but they are boxing her out really well. Like, her 7 are quiet. I'm not kidding. There's so many times you think she's going to have the rebound, especially offensively, and Rushy is doing her duty of keeping her off the offensive board.
Haley Stokes has 7 points. Riley Yeager has 5. And Julissa Smith has 2 points for Mount Vernon. It is 3 points for Savannah Wright. Taylor Frank has 4 points. Chloe Meester has 4 points, 3 for Courtney Wright, and 3 for Sydney Huber. Second half, when we come back, this is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
This game is heating up, folks. Frank squares up like a butcher block on defense. Audie with the fadeaway. She's on fire. Literally, that is. The net has been burned to a crisp.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
He's the prime cut passer from behind the meat counter. It's Fairway Frank. And introducing a 6'3" center who's a cut above the rest. Say hello to Audie Crooks.
Back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. It's the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships, and you fans at home have a chance to get yourself a little look from the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships. Fans official state tournament merchandise is now available. Time to get your smartphones out. Just scan the QR code on your screen now or visit IGHSAU.org to browse and customize your merchandise to match your style. It will be Mount Vernon to start with the basketball here in the third quarter. We have 16 minutes of basketball to decide who is going to play in the Class 3A State Championship. It was Estherville Lincoln Central taking down Mount Vernon a year ago in this game, and of course went on to fall in the championship game to Solon. A very good Solon team led by Callie Levine, who of course is an Iowa Hawkeye now. Saw that she got into the contest with 4 other freshmen for the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Big Ten tournament a couple of nights ago. There's last night I should say, Meester, the follow-up is no good as that one rolls out.
Well, the WowMac is so good, of course. Clear Creek, Amana, Williamsburg, Solon, Mount Vernon, just a loaded conference, so many great athletes.
After the miss by Mount Vernon, it is Haley Stokes and company. Stokes driving in against Meester, and that one is no good. Now a run out for Mount Vernon. They've got numbers. They're 5-on-4 as Stokes catches now up to the play, and Meester turnaround jumper. One-on-one, Meester's going to win that matchup a lot of the time.
She is. The defense has to get in front. They have the entire first half, and so you have to get in front because that pass is just too easy, but a good entry pass for the assist by Taylor Frank.
Mount Vernon extends their largest lead of the game, which is now 5, and ties Estherville Lincoln Central that had a 5-point lead in the second quarter. 19-14 the score.
You can see Frank face guarding Haley Stokes, playing no help defense. She doesn't even know where the ball is.
Yeager floating to no, gets her own rebound. Again, Estherville Lincoln Central out rebounding Mount Vernon in this game. A new 35 seconds for Estherville Lincoln Central. One of the things that, if the shooting stays about what it was in the first half, possessions are so key. Stokes step back three, money for three.
She was very patient on offense right there with Frank right up in her, but all she needed was a little screen.
And now ELC on the run with the basketball after the turnover from Mount Vernon. Pass inside to Rushy for two, off the glass, no. And we're going to have a fight for a rebound and a foul called against Mount Vernon. No.
I'd say it's on Smith.
Yep, you're right.
Okay.
So it was called against ELC. I was shocked there also.
Yes, they double team Savannah Wright on that, and so had to bring up Huber to bring the ball down the court.
It will be Mount Vernon with the basketball. Meester will screen as Frank Taylor kicks it to Courtney. Courtney for two, has her shot partially blocked, and that way it will stay here with Mount Vernon. The shot was blocked there. And ELC the last to touch it. They try to float it into Meester. It's thrown away, though. Stokes has got it, and she will race down the floor and lay it in. That's about the easiest bucket that Stokes will have all day. And we are tied again at 19.
She's had a lot of those over her 4 years. Of course, she has upwards of 2,000 points in her high school career. That wasn't easy, too. She scored a lot of those, but it's the only time today.
Mount Vernon has not made it easy on Stokes, but when they throw it right to her, she's able to knock it down. Also knocking it down is Sydney Huber, who lines that one up for three. Her mom spent some time in the WNBA with the Utah Stars after a great career with the Iowa State Cyclones. Here's a drive inside. Yanger lost that one out of bounds. 4:35 to go here in the third quarter. 22-19 is the lead in favor of Mount Vernon. 3-point shots falling a little bit easier here in the second half, as both teams have been able to connect on it. Mount Vernon with a chance to add on to their lead. Inside looking for two more. Jumper is blocked away. Now we've got to fight for the rebound. And it will go to ELC on the jump ball. You see those teams continue to fight for those possessions. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Didn't quite finish that point of if the scoring doesn't, it kind of stays the way we had in the first half. Every possession is so key because you don't know how many of them you're going to get with both teams using so much of the shot clock.
Right, if we only end up in the 30s, that's a low scoring game, and those passes like that really matter, and finishing is such a key.
Smith, the rebound, gives it right back to the star, Stokes, and she finishes inside the lane. And Mount Vernon's going to use a timeout before a 5-second violation is whistled against them. ELC back to within one. 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here as you look inside Wells Fargo Arena. Good crowd on hand here. I've noticed there's quite a few teams that maybe have already played or maybe are playing a little bit later on are looking on. Smith grabs that rebound into Stokes, and Stokes is able to fire that one in from inside the paint, but I think everybody around the state knew that this was going to be a good one today.
They did. I think there was a lot of expectation that Mount Vernon would win. They're so good in transition, and ELC has slowed that down a lot. There's also talk that, Haley Stokes is the top player on the court. However, the top team is the Mustangs. So both teams, so many great players. Man, what a good matchup here, and it's definitely going to be close all the way through.
These two teams started in the preseason. Estherville Lincoln Central 1, Mount Vernon 2. Then they flip-flopped after Mount Vernon found a victory. ELC lost a couple of games early on. Flip-flopped. Mount Vernon went to number 1. ELC went to number 2. Mount Vernon has been number 1 since then. ELC dropped to 6. And the pass is going to be taken away by Stokes. Here's the run out across the line. Feeds it inside. And Yeager can't hang on to it. And she lost it out. Stokes, a tough pass. I mean, such a good look from her, but when she fires it in there, she fires it with some velocity, which she has to beat the hands of Mount Vernon trying to steal the ball away.
Part of that, as the recipient of that pass, is the expectant. You really have to get your hands up and be ready for a strong pass.
It is Frank with it on the left side. Courtney Frank surveys. It is Wright for a three, and that is no good. Savannah Wright trying to get things going.
That's a big rebound by ELC's Riley Yeager as ELC continues to win the battle of the boards 22-18.
Stokes free throw line jumper, no. Meester the rebound, and here comes Mount Vernon trying to extend their lead across the floor. It looked like they were going to run out in transition. Now they'll slow things down and set up an offense. Frank lost the handle on it, but she gets it back. Now it's to Wright. Wright with a jab step at the free throw line, trying to work inside, and a whistle on the floor. We've got a foul called as ELC will get one charged there against Schultz.
Crossover number 1, crossover number, behind the back. There we go. She lost it. She makes her move so low. She does a nice job with that. Makes her so quick.
Inbound to Meester. Three-pointer on the way. Step, shoot, and fire. Knocked it down is Sydney Huber.
So casual.
Yeah.
Just another day at the office.
And that was not close to the three-point line at all. Rushy at the free throw line. Lost the handle on it for a moment. ELC will keep the possession for now. 25-21, 4-point lead in favor of Mount Vernon.
Here comes that high screen.
ELC throws it away. I think maybe a little miscommunication there between Stokes and Rushy. I think Stokes thought Rushy was going to go deeper into that corner, and Rushy did not.
They were trying to read each other, but even on that ball screen, she decided not to use the ball screen because she saw the help defense coming. So great defense by the Stangs.
Courtney Frank now for Mount Vernon. They will be the home team until they are knocked out of the tournament as the number 1 seed. And a blocking foul is going to be whistled against Estherville Lincoln Central. Stokes has done a good job not picking up extra fouls after she got those 2 early ones. Smith picks up her second.
Yeah, she's had to take a little intensity off of her defense because she has to be in the game.
Huber kick out right, trying for a three. It is off the mark, no good. Rebound by Frank, and she throws it back in. I think Frank noticed that ball is going to be short, and she collapsed the lane and grabs it and throws it in. That's Courtney Frank.
Such a great read.
Largest lead of the game. Right now for Mount Vernon is 6. With a minute to play here in the third quarter, 14 to shoot for Stokes and company. Rushy. They'll switch it off to Yeager, and 3 seconds in the lane is going to be whistled against Estherville Lincoln Central. So now Mount Vernon a chance to add to their largest lead.
Coach Sanderson wants someone else to beat them besides Stokes. And so the face guard is so effective, and ELC is struggling without the ball in Stokes' hands.
Does Mount Vernon try to feed it inside to Meester? She's got some space down there, maybe the inside out. That game has worked a little bit now that the threes are starting to fall a little bit more for Mount Vernon. And they are going to throw it away. Going into Media Row down there is Frank. Taylor Frank kind of diving, Courtney Frank kind of diving into the table, knocking over some pop bottles. Look at that. Oh. Our colleague Cammie Blackstone down there, hopefully she's okay. 18 seconds in the quarter. What will Stokes do? Step back three is going to be the idea. It is no good as it rims around. Now 5 for Mount Vernon. They've got to get a shot up with 2. Can they get one away? At the buzzer, it's good if it goes. It is no good at the buzzer for Taylor Frank. We have played 3 quarters of basketball. ELC 21, Mount Vernon 27. We'll come back for the final 8 minutes. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, and the ELC fans not cheering at the moment. Long stare with the camera as we get set for the fourth quarter. And it will be Mount Vernon basketball.
Yeah, this game is a little bit of a defensive stare down. The Mustangs scored 10 in quarter number 3, and the Midgets scored 21. Haley Stokes had 7 in the first quarter, scoreless in the second, and 7 there in quarter number 3. But she's got to get fired up to keep ELC and her team in this.
Coach Martindale talking to his team there in the fourth quarter. Here's the 3 ball on the way, looking for a stop defensively, out of bounds off of ELC. And that was a tough one there. She landed on top of the basketball, so hopefully going to be okay there for Schultz, as when she came down, she landed on top of the basketball. And looks like maybe just needed a moment to gather herself. She's kind of smiling with everybody as
Courtney Frank gives her a big hug.
Yeah.
Some friendly basketball here today in Iowa.
Fresh 35 for Mount Vernon. 7:40. This is a huge possession defensively for ELC and for Mount Vernon on the offensive side. Meester's attempt up and no good. And the rebound now for ELC. They'll come back down the way. Coach Martindale, of course, spent 17 years at Spencer. Now here at ELC after a short break. That ball lost out of bounds off of ELC. It goes back to Mount Vernon. And ELC with some pressure in the backcourt defensively.
Yeah, they're face guarding that inbound pass, which makes it very difficult. They may need to bring it someone else. You can see that Chloe Meester is in the backcourt as well as Frank.
Earlier, Mount Vernon had to call a timeout on a similar situation before they got a 5-second violation. This time they are able to get it inbounds, and Wright dribbling through the defense of Stokes. Wright at the free throw line. Gives it back to Huber. She'll drive in for a 2. It's no good. Gets her own rebound. Back out to Wright. Step and shoot 3. No. Meester, third opportunity for 2. No. And finally, ELC is able to grab the rebound. 3 good looks there for Mount Vernon.
It's frustrating when one doesn't fall and you get 3 looks, but relief for the Midgets.
Huge relief for Estherville Lincoln Central, not having to come back from even further, trailing by 6. Rushy will line up for a 3, and she spots it in. Hillary Rushy drains the triple. Timeout called, and if you're Estherville Lincoln Central, you're probably thinking, hey, we need somebody else to hit a big shot, and Rushy does it there. Let's watch this one again as we go to break. Rushy, nylon. We come back. This is the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Back to Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, the IGHSAU State Basketball Championships. The Estherville Lincoln Central fans looking on as their team comes back. Timeout there for Coach Martindale at ELC. What a big shot from Hillary Rushy.
Yes, Rushy has had a big defensive assignment guarding and trying to front Chloe Meester, but talk about a timely score there. Her only points of the game so far, but a big three-point splash.
More pressure in the backcourt by ELC. Running the floor now is Mount Vernon. A three-point game, just one possession as we wind down here in the ball game. 6 and change to play. Maybe 4 quarters won't be enough.
Such an important defensive task to only have it one and done for the team in white. ELC looks to box out.
Good pass inside to Huber, and she finds 2.
Yes, but it's Mustangs with the one and done. One shot up and in by Huber.
Back to a 5-point lead for Mount Vernon. Rushy thought about another one. This time she pulls it back down. Jaeger drives inside, lost the handle on it against Meester, so she'll have to pass it back out to Rushy. Trying to get the ball into Stokes' hands with 9. Stokes just winds up for a 3. It's off the mark, no good. Mount Vernon maybe anticipating Stokes would dribble around a little bit, wait for that shot clock, and then fire one, so Stokes just fired one up. Did not go, but then Mount Vernon, their answer 3 also no good. Here's Stokes inside the lane, tried the pass, didn't come out the way she wanted it, taken away by Frank. All the way to the rim, and she'll score. Courtney Frank goes the length.
Great points in transitions for more momentum for the Mustangs.
31-24, Estherville Lincoln Central looking for another answer. They got it from Hillary Rushy the last time that they fell into a deficit. Jaeger this time, dribbles in, stopped, Stokes, 3, fouled. Stokes will get 3 free throws. She has been so good from the free throw line tonight, and she'll get 3 more here.
And that's just a feel for the game. She felt Taylor Frank underneath of her, so really catch and shoot right there, knowing she was going to draw the foul.
And Frank trying to close in on it, got the elbow of the shooting Stokes, and now we've got a conversation between our officials, maybe trying to see if she was on that line to see if it was only a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer. Official does put up 3 fingers, so it will be 3 free throws, and the first one from Stokes is no good. 4:44 to play here in the fourth. Foul situation, neither team in trouble right now. Mount Vernon, that was the first foul of the fourth quarter, and Haley Stokes has missed both free throws to start this trip.
I doubt she's missed 2 in a row all year.
And she makes the last one to make it back to a 6-point lead. Mount Vernon with that lead, and they have the ball.
Yeah, Haley is an 86% free throw.
A foul is going to be called. Stokes got the pickpocket, was running the other way. But a whistle on a reach in first. That'll be her 3rd now. First of the second half, she had 2 quick fouls in the first half. And stayed clean since now. So just 3 fouls on Stokes. And of course, that's pretty common for Stokes with the way she aggressively plays defense, as you were talking about earlier. You're going to get fouls from time to time. Here is a drive inside. Oh, that one almost rolled in for an and one opportunity. Instead, it'll be 2 free throws coming for Taylor Frank.
Here it is, a nice crossover move. She goes all the way through again. Almost in, but no double there because you always have to stay with Meester, which gives her an open lane to drive.
First free throw falls. One more free throw coming for Mount Vernon, and Frank is no good, and the rebound goes to Jaeger. And Stokes and company across the line. Inside 2, no good. Stokes. Smith the rebound, rolls it back before she travels, and ELC with a second opportunity. Rushy pass inside, did not get it to go. Back outside, Rushy looking for another 3. No good, and the rebound will go to Wright. Mount Vernon, ball's out of bounds, and they're going to say that it was reached in by Yeager and poked out. Timeout called by ELC.
A good time to try to slow things down. They've got to connect. They've got to score. Haley Stokes, she is a 32% three-point percent scorer, but tonight she's only 1 for 7. So again, speaking to Coach Sanderson and his defensive plan, and the team is executing it so well.
Both of these two teams haven't gone much to the bench. Haven't had too many of our IMT substitutions. We thank our friends at IMT, though, for sponsoring substitutions in this tournament. Learn how to be worry-free at imtins.com. Estherville Lincoln Central has used 6 girls in this game. Mount Vernon has used 7. .353 to play in the fourth. 32-25. One is off to a state championship game. One will end a spectacular season here in the state semifinals. Both schools have won state titles in the past. Mount Vernon's last state championship, 2010. Estherville Lincoln Central just a couple of years ago, they were cutting down the nets. Led by the, at the time, freshman Haley Stokes.
Meester posting up hard, but great defense by ELC.
3A to shoot, ball is lost, and a travel is going to be called no matter what. That was going to be ELC basketball. The travel, the shot clock was at 1, and Stokes came out with that basketball. So ELC was getting it. It was just whether they were going to get it in transition or a dead ball turnover, and it will be a dead ball turnover as ELC will get the basketball back and bring it across the line to set things up with Rushy.
A key defensive stop for them, but they've got to score here. Look for Stokes to come around to screen, get the ball. They screen her person. She'll go underneath that screen.
Stokes too strong, but the rebound to Yeager. Now Yeager's going to fly it up for 3, and she knocks it down. Riley Yeager with a huge 3 for ELC.
So key for Yeager to step up for her team.
Yeager has 8 now and 9 rebounds in the contest. Ball is loose. Stokes was trying to get to it, but Courtney Frank is able to keep it. An offensive foul on Mount Vernon. ELC with the basketball back down by 4. We'll watch it again. And they're going to say that Wright lowered the shoulder, extended the arm. Across the line comes Stokes with it. The play that they just showed in from the bench had the Minnesota State logo on it. I wonder if this has anything to do with Haley Stokes getting open with his basketball.
They're trying, but Frank's doing everything she can to not allow it to happen. Now, it's just a straight man-to-man defense, but Frank is face guarding her, trying not to let Haley get the ball back.
Stokes, deep 3, no. Rebound to Meester. Under 2 to play. Long pass up the court. That's out of bounds off of Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon tried the outlet pass. Maybe this late in the game wanted to slow things down, bring it across the floor. Instead, the long outlet pass is out of bounds.
But who was it? It was Haley Stokes running the court so well, causing that turnover.
A 4-point game, 32-28. 1:51 to play in the ball game. It has been a dandy of a contest so far, and I'm sure we are in for a fantastic finish. Rushy with the basketball. Plenty of time, still 18 to shoot here for Estherville Lincoln Central.
Dribble handoff beyond the perimeter here, trying to get the ball.
It's stripped away, but kept alive by ELC, now with just 8 to shoot. Rushy over to Yeager, now with 4. They got to get a shot up. Yeager traveled.
It is so tough offensively when you have Chloe Meester down there. She disrupts everything that you want to do. You think about going up. Here she goes. She wants to go up with it, but Chloe is there to stop all offensive threats.
Honestly, the travel maybe, because Meester was getting that block there, the travel actually maybe helping ELC, because if that ball gets blocked out and one of the Mount Vernon girls are right there to grab it, that's a breakaway the other way. So look at it that way, and because even if she doesn't travel there, we know the end result was a block by Meester.
Yes, she averages 3 a game. I was hoping we'd see some big blocks. We've seen her play volleyball, and she's phenomenal. So I wanted to see one of her 3 average on this season. But she's basically scared everyone away from the paint. They've thought about it twice. Again, there's the travel causing that disruption, and so people have, the players have kept the ball out. You see Haley Stokes taking a lot of three-pointers because it's tough to score in the paint.
Of course, the daughter of Brad Meester, who was the 60th overall pick in the 2000 NFL draft, played 14 NFL seasons with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now, as you mentioned, we'll play volleyball at the Division I level. Trying to come across the line. Only about a second to spare for Mount Vernon.
The Meesters have 6 daughters. Chloe's number 3 and Sophia's number 4.
That 3 ball on the way is no good. Rebound to Mount Vernon, and it's back in. Taylor Frank, right place, right time. That's a huge bucket for Mount Vernon. Back in the lead by 6. ELC looking for an answer.
And 6-point lead feels huge at this moment.
It is only 2 possessions, though, so a bucket and a stop. Rushy will try for a 2. It's no good. Rebound saved by Rushy, but in the hands of Mount Vernon. Stokes got her 4th. So Haley Stokes will pick up her 4th foul. Her 3rd. I thought she picked one up. Okay. I think maybe announced incorrectly inside the arena. I think we have her for 4. Yeah, we do. Okay. And now with the shot clock off, ELC going to start fouling. They'll need 1 more to send Mount Vernon to the free throw line.
And they'll want to foul quickly.
ELC trying to extend this game. Inbound pass will come. Frank gets the pass, looking for 2. She misses it, and the rebound comes to ELC. So no free throws, and ELC has a chance. Yeah, Stokes for 3, no. And the rebound will be picked up by Mount Vernon, and now the foul will come in. So Mount Vernon had that set up to try to score without the free throws, but Frank left it a bit short. Now we'll go to the free throw line with 18 seconds to play in the ball game. And it'll be Courtney Frank at the free throw line. Frank just a 50% free throw shooter this season for Mount Vernon. First free throw is no good off the mark.
And Chloe Meester will not be hitting the offensive boards. She's back on defense already.
She's already standing in the defensive lane. On the other side, free throw is good. And timeout called by Mount Vernon. Let's keep it right here. 18 seconds to play in the 4th. 35-28, and for Estherville Lincoln Central, gotta be quick shooting this basketball because you're going to need a couple more possessions to try to get back into this game.
And they don't. You just want to score quickly. Obviously, they're going to come out on defense on the perimeter. So you can ball fake, go for a layup, hopefully get fouled, and then you have to go for the steal right away. Again, they run a face guard on the out of bounds, which I love, with a stealer, if you call it. So the stealer, of course, is Haley Stokes. But as soon as they steal that ball, put up a 3 and see if they can do some magic here. You can score a lot of points quickly, and so they hope to do that.
I would imagine that the basketball likely in the hands of Haley Stokes. This Estherville Lincoln Central senior class, all 5 of the starters are seniors this year. They have been playing since they were freshmen. When they were freshmen, winning that state championship in 2022. Since that time in 2022, they have finished in the quarterfinals, got upset in 2023 by Vinton Shellsburg, and then were the runners-up a year ago, trying to get back to a state championship game. They'll inbound it up ahead to Rushy. Rushy will try for a three. She knocks it down. So it is Rushy with a three and a timeout called by ELC. They had that set up to perfection. Obviously, Mount Vernon paying so much attention to Haley Stokes. They get it ahead to Rushy. And what a clutch three-point shot. She gets it, doesn't even look at where she's at on the court. She's 3 or 4 steps behind the three-point arc and knocks it down.
Yeah, that pass was from Stokes, so another assist by Haley. She has 4 today. That's exactly what you want to happen. Of course, the Mustangs brought a lot of pressure. So right here, it's face guard. You want your 5 quickest defenders, which will be the same 5 as they've had the whole game. They don't go deep. But Mount Vernon, they'll stay with their 5 starters, I expect, to get the ball in. They're 12.8, but expect to be fouled, so you want your best free throw shooters in the game.
Now, if you're Estherville Lincoln Central, to say you are able to get a steal on this inbound pass, are you trying to get it out for a 3, or are you just taking a shot from where you get that steal from?
Either. It's time is of the essence. So if you're right underneath, you take that layup, hope to get fouled, maybe pump, fake, and power to get the and one. But if you're at 3, you got to go. If you're a step away, if you're at 15 feet, you dribble back to score 3.
Everybody is on the same side of the court. 10 defenders, 10 players. Looking to inbound the basketball is Mount Vernon. It's nearly stolen away by Rushy, who touched it last. They're going to say it was touched by Rushy. Rushy nearly got that. And if she catches it there, she has a chance to maybe throw it up in off the backboard. 4-point lead, 35-31.
Yes, Frank always goes deep, and Smith goes with her, but there she stayed just to inbound.
And it's thrown away by Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon throws the basketball away with 8.6. ELC is alive. They're going to need a bucket here. Doesn't have to be a 3.
You want to have that turnover going towards your basket, not going towards the sideline.
Into Stokes for 3. No good, and the rebound comes to Frank, and she'll be fouled.
Stokes barely missed that. It was just short. It was right on the line.
Stokes had the look, just couldn't quite get it to go. 3.4 to play in the ball game. And now Courtney Frank will go back to the free throw line for 2 more.
And if Stokes makes that, you're 1 steal away and you're in the game. That's how close, how every possession is so crucial, especially in a low-scoring game like this one.
First free throw is no good. The most it can be is 5. Right now, 4 with 3.4, but still a tall task for Estherville Lincoln Central. No good on both. ELC's got it, and they will take a timeout as the ball is thrown across and up. I believe a timeout is called.
There's 1 second here. So the Mustangs cannot foul on this 3-point shot, which they will take, hoping to get fouled for an and one on the 3. Haley Stokes, obviously, they'll set a couple screens to get her open, but it's a catch and shoot situation with 1 second. There's not time to dribble. Oh, sorry, with 2.1. Okay, they changed it.
Yeah, that was Coach Martindale. As soon as he called the timeout, he immediately went to the officials and said, hey, I called that timeout right away. And so they did put 2.1 back on the clock.
Okay, now I will give you a dribble. That's it. 1 dribble up and in. But Mustangs cannot foul. If they make the 3-pointer, okay.
Yeah.
But expect them.
Yeah, I think if you're Mount Vernon, why not just put everybody on the baseline over here and just let Estherville Lincoln Central do whatever they want, you know? Maybe that's what they will do. Mount Vernon players, they could go stand underneath their own basket with 2.1 because ELC needs 4 points. You don't want anybody in the vicinity of this shooter.
No, which again, we expect number 23 to take this shot.
The ball will be inbounded in front of the Mount Vernon bench, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They are all going to line up on their own end of the court, and nobody's even going to go down there. It'll be Rushy at the buzzer for a 3. She knocks it down, and ELC will lose by 1, 35-34. Mount Vernon will play for their first state championship since 2010, as the Mustangs have been number 1 since early on in the season. and they will have a chance to end the season as the number 1 team and holding up the Golden Trophy here in Des Moines.
Wow, what a career for Haley Stokes. That was an awesome hug between Rushy and Stokes. That's all they could do. Incredible teams going at it here today with great defense, holding each other to 35 and below. An odd finish with no defense, but the smart thing to do.
Very smart thing to do. Let's go downstairs for today's awards ceremony.
Each participating player will receive a commemorative basketball provided by the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Presenting awards from the IGHSAU, our Executive Director, Aaron Gerlich, and Basketball Administrator and Associate Director, Gary Ross. Congratulations to Head Coach Don Martindale and the Midgets from Estherville Lincoln Central on an outstanding basketball season. And now, Erin Jackson will advance her team to the next round on the official bracket at center court. Mustang fans, your team advances to the championship and will play the winner of Wahlert and Williamsburg on Friday at 8 p.m. Fans, on behalf of
the celebration is on for Mount Vernon as they will play for the state championship. They were the runners-up in 2011. We mentioned the champs in 2010, the quarterfinals in 2015, the quarterfinals in 2016. Last times they were all here at the state tournament, and of course lost to Estherville Lincoln Central 45-37 in the semifinals a year ago. As you see, Haley Stokes' phenomenal career comes to an end as she lays that one up 35-34. Final thoughts, Joanna?
Phenomenal balanced offense by Mount Vernon, led today with 11 points by Sydney Huber. It was 14 big rebounds by Chloe Meester that allows the Mustangs to play another day.
It will be Mount Vernon against Dubuque, Wahlert, or Williamsburg. Those two teams are taking the floor next. And of course, we have the rest of the semifinal coverage for you right here on the IGHSAU Digital Network. And then tomorrow night and Saturday, we'll hand it over to our friends at Iowa Public Television for the state championships. That's going to wrap it up here in this Class 3A semifinals. Once again, Mount Vernon wins 35-34 over Estherville Lincoln Central in a great contest today for our entire team here in Des Moines. She's Joanna Settles. I'm Zarin Agostel saying stick with us. More basketball to come